Hi there. In this video we'll be covering I want someone to write a book about my life. There are professionals out there who can definitely help you. But before you engage with one of them, there are definitely some things you should know. By the end of this video, you will learn all about book ghostwriting, the typical price range for ghostwriters, and the power of working with a ghostwriter. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free opportunity. Let's dive in. You may have heard at some point about ghostwriters. They're popular in books, they're popular in music, they're popular in speeches. These are people behind the scenes who write things for other people, on behalf of other people. Their goal is to sound like the author, sound like the person who's actually having the book written for them. I got into book ghostwriting 6 years ago. I spent about a decade in New York City media, decided I wanted a change of careers and wanted to work from home and thought book ghostwriting could be fun. Since that time, I've written or ghostwritten more than 30 books. And it's been such a thrilling process to be able to help people, guide them forward, to bring their stories forward, to help them accomplish the thing that they didn't think they could accomplish, and help them get to the opposite side of it, to have this book that they could hold up and say, this is mine, you know? It's such a collaborative process though. You know, people think of ghostwriting like, I go away and like just work on my own and don't actually talk to the person and then voila, we have a book at the end of it. That's not how it works at all. It's a very collaborative process. You know, it's really involving typically weekly meetings with a lot of my clients. I meet weekly and we talk, go through different areas of the book. We start with foundation work, we start with an outline, we figure out the structure of the book and the things that, you know, they're trying to say and the message and the purpose. And from there, we start diving into the chapters, you know, and we focus on making sure that the voice sounds right. You know, I take their words and turn them into chapters. And it's awesome when we'll meet the next time and talk about the writing. And they'll say, this sounds so much like me. I can't believe you got my voice right. Well, it's based on your words, so I hope I can get it right. That's the underlying sentiment of book ghostwriting. It's your book and your voice. It's bringing out your voice and your story in the strongest way possible. When I start working on a book ghostwriting project, it typically takes 3 to 6 months for a straightforward book project, you know, maybe more for more research intensive or time intensive projects. You know, I've written books in as short as 6 weeks. That's too fast. There's a balance to be had. You know, you want to make sure that you spend the time to get it right. And there's times where I'll be working with somebody and they're still figuring out their story. They're still making sense of it. They're still finding closure and peace. And in one small way, I'm helping them get there by talking through these issues, by working through it, by channeling it, by connecting the dots and figuring out, you know, why this happened and why that happened. You know, it's really special to be able to see somebody get to the opposite side of that healing journey, of that journey, that transition to closure, to peace, to new normal, whatever you want to call it. To be able to see them move forward with their life with this added purpose and the power of their story. Your story matters. Your story is so powerful. And that's what's so awesome about being a book ghostwriter, is helping people to bring out the power in their story, to unlock their message. You know, there's so many times when people will write a book and publish it and it won't have the impact. It falls short. You know, you go on Amazon and it has 4 reviews and you're like, what happened? I was so excited. I just thought it was going to blow up and really take off. You know, it's not that. You know, it's about something deeper. It's about really, really, really digging deep on our story, on our message, unlocking it, figuring out the power of it and sharing it so someone else can learn from it. Someone else can benefit from it. It's going to shape somebody else's life. That kind of impact is massive, and it's such a powerful thing, and it's something I don't take for granted. It's really a special thing. One of the big hang-ups with ghostwriting, and I get it because I have conversations with authors all the time, is the cost. The cost of ghostwriting can be expensive. For a professional ghostwriter on a typical project, at a baseline, you're probably looking at $25,000 to $30,000. Ghostwriting rates can go up or down from that range. You know, you can find book ghostwriters for under $10,000, and you can find book ghostwriters for over $100,000. You can guess at the kind of quality you might get from those ranges. If you're going for 6-figure ghostwriters, these are the best of the best. These are the top tier ghostwriters in the space. You know, I'd like to be there someday, but I also kind of want to have affordable rates. And then on the flip side of that, if you're spending less than $10,000 for your project, there's a likelihood that the person you're working with isn't as qualified or doesn't really trust their services, you know? So it's a balance. It's a balance. That's not to say that you can't find a great ghostwriter for that kind of price. It's not to say that you can't find a ghostwriter that won't serve you well at a higher rate. You know, it's about really doing your homework. If you find somebody you're interested in working with, talk to their references. Talk to people who've worked with them, you know, see if they're for real, you know, see if they're who they say they are, that they're doing the work that they say they did. With AI and ChatGPT and so many other things, making the writing process simpler now, simpler, not better, there's a likelihood that you could hire somebody who ends up cutting corners. You want to be able to trust the person you work with. Trust is the centerpiece of any ghostwriter-author relationship. If there's no trust, it's not a great relationship. That means you're looking over their shoulder. It means you're not really trusting the text that is being sent to you. You know, you're doing more of the work yourself because you don't trust it. You want to be able to get to a place where you completely trust your ghostwriter. That's not to say that you don't check and double check, because ultimately it's your name on the cover of the book. At the same time, you want to know that your ghostwriter is a professional, is following industry standards, typical standards, that they're upholding ethics, you know, that they're doing things the right way. You want to be able to trust that you're hiring somebody who knows what they're doing, is a professional, and can navigate your book forward. You know, because ultimately, the more powerful your book, the bigger impact it's going to have. And that doesn't necessarily mean sales volume. It means the impact on the reader. You know, how are you going to shape somebody's life and change their life based on what you write? Your book could open so many doors, from speaking engagements, from interview opportunities, from establishing yourself as a thought leader or CEO, getting a legacy project written, generating leads and clients for your company. There's so many different things that can pop up and emerge from a great book. So you want to end up choosing a ghostwriter you can trust, a ghostwriter you can believe in, and working with them directly to help you navigate forward, because this process is scary. Writing a book is scary, publishing it is scary, navigating every single step along the journey is a scary thing, and working with a ghostwriter can help make the process a lot easier. If you want to learn more about finding someone to write a book about your life, you're in luck. You found somebody who can potentially help you. Just head to my website, goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below, and there you can schedule a one-on-one strategy call with me. I would love to talk to you about your story, your message, what you're trying to accomplish. You know, maybe it would be a good fit for me and you to work together, or maybe I can point you in the right direction of somebody else. Maybe I can even just give you insight and guidance. I would love to just offer any input I can to help you on your way. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.